Alright, this video starts us off in Chapter 8, which is all about solving different linear equations. So we're going to start off fairly simple, and obviously as we go through different videos we'll look at more complicated ones and show you different approaches for those. So to start, we need to determine what it is, what it means to solve a linear equation. So very simply, a linear equation is going to have a variable in it. When we solve it, we are simply going to try to find the value of that variable that makes the equation true. Okay? So a couple different methods that we're going to use. We'll start off with one method. Now I would imagine by the time we're a little ways in there, you'll see that method number 2 is going to save you a little bit of time, but conceptually maybe it's a good place to start by doing this method number 1 using a number line. Okay, so say we are given the following linear equation: 2x is equal to 3 over 4. Okay, so if 2x is equal to 3 over 4, the way that we can use our number line is very simply draw out 3/4 on a number line. So we'll make our number line, okay, and we've got 0 over here, and we see that it's a positive value, 3/4. So 3 out of 4 is not quite to 1, right? So we're going to make our number line, and we'll evenly split this up into 4 sections, and so the line 3/4 would be represented here by this red line. Okay, and that's equal to 2x. Okay, so that is going to be 2x. Okay, so what we're trying to find is what the value of one of those x's is. So basically, if that entire 3/4 is equal to 2x, then half of that should be equal to 1x. So very simply, we're going to cut that right in half. Okay, and in order to see what value that is, it looks like we're going to need to add extra ticks and see that now instead of having it split into quarters, we've got it split into eighths, and we're going to count out how many. So 1, 2, 3 eighths would be 1x, and 1, 2, 3 eighths would be the other x. Okay, so your answer is going to be 1x is equal to 3 out of 8. Okay, so it's just a picture, a number line that allows you to see how you could split that up. That'd be for one example. Okay, so I've written out the steps there. First, you draw the number line with the non-variable term represented, so that would be this 3/4, right? And then you're going to divide it into the equal parts represented by the coefficient. So the coefficient here was 2, so I'm going to split it into 2 equal parts. Okay, let's see if we can do another one. Okay, so m divided by 3 is equal to -2/5. So again, I draw my number line. This time 0 is going to be over here because we're dealing with a -2/5. Okay, so we'll put 1 somewhere here, -1, sorry, and that needs to be split into fifths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Good. Okay, so I've got it split into fifths there, and the first part is to draw that number line with 2/5 represented. Okay, and that is going to be equal to m over 3. So that amount is m over 3. To figure out what m would be, then basically we've got 1/3 of what m is there, so we are going to want to do 3 of those in order to determine what m would be, right? If we have 1/3 of m, 3/3 of m is equal to 1 full m, so we're going to add another m over 3 and another m over 3, which means that the answer for 3/3 of m, or m, should be equal to not 2/5, not 4/5, but 6/5. Okay, that's going to be the full amount. So m is equal to 6 out of 5, or as a mixed number, we'd have 1 and 1/5. And sorry, that was negative. And going in the left direction. Okay, so that's a way that you can use number lines. I will move on and talk a little bit about how you can just use algebra, method number 2. This is the way that you're probably going to end up using, as it's going to be faster for you, but it's probably a good place to start with those number lines. So remember, the aim of algebra is to isolate or get the variable on its own, right? Isolate means to be on its own. So we do this by undoing the operations applied to the variable, and we undo those operations by performing the opposite operations. So it's a bunch of words. Let's figure out what it means. Okay, so we look at an example, and we have 3x is equal to negative 2 out of 3. Okay, or negative 2 over 3. So again, we're trying to get the variable on its own. Well, the variable is x. We need to ask ourselves, well, what is happening to x right now? Well, x is being multiplied by 3. So we want to undo that by performing the opposite operation. So it was multiplied by 3. The opposite operation is dividing by 3. So we're going to divide by 3. When we do that, 3 divided by 3, that cancels out, right? That was the whole purpose. Now we've isolated, but we need to remember this equal sign means that if we divide by 3 on one side, we better make sure we're dividing by 3 on the other side too, or else we're no longer keeping it equal. So we need to figure out what the other side is. We've determined that this side is x. Okay? We need to take 2/3 and divide that by 3. Now remember, division of fractions, right? 3 is really a fraction, 3 over 1. Division of fractions is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1 over 3. And when we do that, we just multiply numerator. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 3 times 3 is 9. That's going to be your answer. Okay, negative 2 over 9. Can't be simplified. That's going to work good enough like that. Okay, so there's one type. We'll do another example here. Maybe I'll just erase some of this so that we can have a little bit extra room to work with. Okay, so we've got x over 2 is equal to 5 out of 6, or 5 over 6. Okay, we ask ourselves what's happening to the variable. Variable's x, it's being divided by 2. The opposite operation is going to be multiplied. So we multiply by 2. If we multiply one side by 2, got to multiply the other side by 2 as well. And over here, those 2's are going to cancel off. That was the whole point of it. So we're going to be left with x is equal to 5 over 6 times 2 over 1. So 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 1 is 6. We've got 10 over 6, which is going to simplify to 5 over 3. Or you could write it as a mixed number, and you're going to have 1 and 2/3. Okay? And that's going to be your answer. Okay, so those are just kind of basic one-step linear equations, solving them with the two different methods. Hope that is helpful.